Okay, so it looks like things are not looking good for Rihanna and her baby daddy, because new police sources just confirmed that A$AP Rocky is going to prison for 10 years for the 2021 shooting of his former friend, A$AP Relly. For a hot minute, we thought that he was going to beat the charges, especially given the influence of his baby mama, Rihanna. Rocky has been walking free for more than 3 years, and even had 2 kids with Rihanna. Unfortunately, it looks like that's not going to save him, because the case is going to trial very soon, and it is not looking good for him. He could face up to 24 years in prison, and the streets are saying that he's going to do at least 10 years. Rihanna is not handling this well, because she is about to be a single mother and raise their kids alone. This is about to be a hot mess, so let's break this down. Just when we thought Rihanna and A$AP Rocky were living their best life, the drama came crashing in like a wrecking ball. Turns out that A$AP Rocky is in some serious legal trouble, and it's not your average parking ticket situation. He's facing potential jail time over an alleged shooting incident that went down back in 2021. And get this, there's actual video evidence that could work against him. Yes, video. So, unless some miracle happens, Rocky's legal team might have a tough time wiggling their way out of this one. Now, word on the street is that Rihanna is absolutely devastated by all of this. Allegedly, she's been so overwhelmed that it's led to some emotional breakdowns. Why? Because the idea of raising their children without Rocky by her side is not what she signed up for. And honestly, who could blame her? Being a single parent isn't easy, let alone when your partner's legal troubles are splashed all over the headlines. This whole situation is a chaotic mess. So let's stir the pot and break down what's really going on here and why Rocky might end up spending years behind bars. First off, let's be real. This isn't Rocky's first rodeo when it comes to trouble with the law. Over the years, he's built a bit of a reputation for getting tangled up in messy situations. While I'm not here to point fingers, it's hard to ignore the red flags. Rihanna, as much as we love her and her iconic bad gal energy, likely knew what she was stepping into when she got involved with him. Now, I'm not trying to shade our girl Rihanna because she's a queen and can do no wrong in my eyes, but Rocky hasn't exactly been squeaky clean. Let's rewind for a minute. Back in 2021, this whole incident reportedly started with some kind of beef between Rocky and another individual. Things escalated to the point where Rocky allegedly pulled out a gun and fired some shots. Yikes. Fast forward to now, and that moment is coming back to haunt him. The fact that there's video evidence floating around makes the situation even worse. If the footage clearly shows him doing what he's accused of, it could be game over for Rocky in court. Now, what does all of this mean for Rihanna? Well, the rumor mill is buzzing that she's absolutely heartbroken. Not only is she dealing with the stress of Rocky's legal battles, but she's also worried about their family's future. As a new mom to 2 beautiful kids, the idea of having to navigate parenthood without her partner is understandably overwhelming. Rihanna has always been strong, but even the strongest among us have their breaking points. Like I said, this isn't the first time that Rocky has gotten into some type of trouble. Remember that infamous 2019 incident in Sweden? Rocky was arrested and charged with assault after a street altercation, and the whole ordeal became a global spectacle. Things got so wild that even President Trump had to step in, publicly lobbying for Rocky's release. But that wasn't an isolated case. Back in 2013, Rocky made headlines for allegedly hitting a woman during a music festival. According to reports, she claimed he slapped her in the face for no apparent reason. And while Rocky denied it, the controversy left a mark on his reputation. The woman, Lisa Marie Wade, filed a $75,000 lawsuit against A$AP Rocky, claiming that he slapped her in the face, knocking her to the ground as he walked through the crowd at the Made in America festival on the Benjamin Franklin Parkway last September. Wade claims she suffered from migraines, muscle spasms, and various other injuries, including a bruised ego, according to the lawsuit. Fast forward to 2016, and he was involved in yet another altercation, this time in New Zealand, where a fistfight broke out at a hotel. Then there's 2019, when Rocky and rapper Playboi Carti reportedly got into another brawl, this one in Toronto. Do you see a pattern here? Rocky has a history of finding himself in situations where tempers flare and fists fly. While some might chalk it up to the wild nature of the music industry or the chaotic lifestyle of a celebrity, the reality is that these repeated incidents point to a deeper issue. It seems like he's always ready to throw down, and unfortunately, that tendency to fight has now landed him in a world of legal trouble. If you look at all these incidents as pieces of a puzzle, it's not hard to see how they've built up to the situation he's in today. His history of altercations and brushes with the law paints a picture of someone who struggles to de-escalate tense situations. And now, with the 2021 shooting case hanging over his head, it's clear that this pattern has reached a breaking point. The fight that's landed A$AP Rocky in his current legal nightmare reportedly went down in November 2021. According to various accounts, the drama began with an argument between Rocky and his former friend, A$AP Relly. Yes, former friend. Relly, who's also a member of the A$AP mob collective, seems to have had a serious falling out with Rocky that night, and things escalated quickly. Now, the exact cause of their argument is still murky, but whatever sparked it, it didn't stay verbal for long. They ended up throwing hands, and if that wasn't messy enough, Rocky decided to take things to a dangerous level by allegedly pulling out a firearm. He then fired multiple shots, and while Relly wasn't gravely injured, he wasn't entirely lucky either. He got grazed by some of the bullets, resulting in minor injuries. While Relly walked away from the incident, this was still a serious turn of events that's now come back to haunt Rocky in a major way. Here's where things get even messier. Relly's legal team claims the tension between the two didn't start on the night of the shooting. Allegedly, there had been ongoing issues between them for some time. According to Relly's lawyers, Rocky intentionally lured Relly to a secluded location that night under the guise of wanting to talk things out. Instead of a peaceful conversation, though, it turned into a chaotic and violent confrontation. Relly's lawyers wrote, "Unbeknownst to Mr. Efron, AP Rocky was not just planning for a conversation and came armed with a semi-automatic. After arriving at the location, a conversation ensued whereby, without provocation, warning, or any justification, AP Rocky produced the handgun and intentionally fired multiple shots at Mr. Efron." This alleged premeditation adds a whole new layer to the case. If it's true that Rocky had planned to confront Relly in this way, it could make things even harder for him in court. Prosecutors could argue that this wasn't just a spur-of-the-moment incident, but something more calculated. And with video evidence reportedly in play, it's not looking great for Rocky right now. The drama surrounding ASAP Rocky reached a boiling point in April 2022 when he was arrested at LAX airport, and the timing couldn't have been worse. After months of police investigation into the 2021 shooting incident involving ASAP Relly, law enforcement decided to make their move just as Rocky and Rihanna were returning to the States. The couple had been enjoying a romantic getaway in Barbados, a much-needed vacation before the arrival of their first child, RZA. Rihanna, who was 8 months pregnant at the time, was likely feeling all the bliss and anticipation of becoming a new mom. That is, until their plane touched down and chaos erupted. As soon as the wheels hit the ground, the police were waiting. They wasted no time swooping in and arresting Rocky on the spot, leaving Rihanna to process the situation in real time. I don't even want to imagine what must have been going through her mind in that moment, pregnant, vulnerable, and blindsided by such a dramatic scene. The image of her standing there, watching her partner being taken away by police, is heartbreaking enough without even considering the stress it must have caused. Naturally, news of the arrest spread like wildfire across social media. Within minutes, people were buzzing with questions, speculations, and hot takes. Why did the police choose this exact moment to make the arrest? Why at the airport? Why so public? It didn't take long for the details to surface, and the narrative about Rocky's alleged involvement in the shooting started dominating the headlines. The choice to arrest him at such a high-profile moment sparked plenty of debate. On one hand, some argued it was a tactical move by law enforcement. Perhaps they wanted to ensure he couldn't evade arrest or disappear. On the other hand, critics felt it was unnecessary to stage such a spectacle, especially knowing how heavily pregnant Rihanna was conditioned at the time. For Rihanna, this must have been a nightmare scenario. Here she was, ready to settle into the final weeks of her pregnancy, and instead, she was thrown into a media frenzy. The emotional toll must have been immense, not just for her, but for their relationship and growing family. The arrest marked a turning point, taking what was once just legal trouble for Rocky and turning it into a deeply personal ordeal for both of them. The LAPD released a statement about the situation saying, "The Los Angeles Police Department's Robbery Homicide Division detectives have made an arrest in connection with a shooting that occurred in the Hollywood area in November of 2021. On November 6th, 2021, around 10:15 p.m., an argument between two acquaintances occurred in the area of Selma Avenue and Argyle Avenue in the Hollywood area. The argument escalated and resulted in the suspect firing a handgun at the victim. The victim sustained a minor injury from the incident and later sought his medical treatment. Following the shooting, the suspect and two additional males fled the area on foot." They continued, "Detectives worked diligently to investigate and corroborate the reporting information which helped identify the suspects involved. The suspect has been identified as 33-year-old Rakeem Mayers, a Los Angeles resident, also known as music artist ASAP Rocky." Early this morning, LAPD officers arrested Mayers with a deadly firearm at the Los Angeles International Airport. This case will be presented to the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office for filing consideration. After his dramatic arrest at LAX, ASAP Rocky didn't spend much time behind bars. He was granted bail for $550,000, which he posted immediately. Within hours, he was out and back home. But while he might have avoided jail time in the moment, that hefty price tag was just the beginning of his legal saga. Fast forward to August 2022, when the case officially hit the courtroom. Rocky entered a plea of not guilty to the charges, but let's just say things haven't exactly been smooth sailing since then. The updates have been coming in hot and heavy, and they're painting a picture of a case that's anything but straightforward. In fact, unless something miraculous happens, it's looking like Rocky could be staring down some serious jail time. One of the more eyebrow-raising revelations involves ASAP Rocky and his approach to resolving the case. According to reports, Rocky was open to settling things out of court, but his price was sky-high and borderline unrealistic. Word on the street is that Rocky wasn't just looking for compensation, he was looking for a bag. And who did he think would foot the bill? None other than Rocky's billionaire girlfriend, Rihanna. Apparently, Rocky assumed that Rihanna, with her vast fortune and undeniable love for Rocky, would swoop in and cut a check to make this whole mess disappear. But our girl Ree saw right through the situation. Recognizing it as the blatant shakedown it was, she refused to pay up. Her decision was a clear message. She wasn't about to be strong-armed into bailing out Rocky, or anyone else for that matter. Now, with settlement talks off the table, the case is officially heading to trial in a couple of months. This means Rocky is gearing up for a major courtroom showdown, and the stakes couldn't be higher. If convicted, he could face serious consequences, including a lengthy prison sentence. While it's clear that Rihanna is standing by her man, it's also clear that she's not willing to let her financial resources be exploited in the process. The refusal to pay Rocky's exorbitant demands proves that she doesn't play about her coin, even in the face of mounting pressure. But with the trial looming, it's clear that this chapter in their lives is far from over. For now, all eyes are on the courtroom, and fans are left hoping for a resolution that won't tear this high-profile family apart. According to Media Takeout, Rihanna wasn't about to lose that B next to her name, even if it means her baby's father, ASAP Rocky, is going to prison for the next decade. And y'all, the prosecution has Rocky dead to rights because there's literal video evidence of him pulling the weapon on Melly, even though Melly tried to run away from him. While there isn't clear video evidence showing ASAP Rocky actually pulling the trigger, there is footage connected to the incident, and that footage, it's not doing him any favors. The judge in the case has ruled that the video can be presented as evidence during the trial, which could significantly shape how the jury perceives the situation. Add to that ASAP Rocky's testimony, where he flat out claims that Rocky shot him, and you can see why things are looking pretty bleak for Rocky right now. Rocky's side is doubling down, and his account of the events paints a picture of a deliberate act rather than an accident. Between the video evidence and Rocky's statements, Rocky is facing an uphill battle as he fights 2 serious charges of assault with a firearm. It's worth noting that assault with a firearm is no small charge. If convicted, Rocky could be looking at years behind bars depending on how the case unfolds. And considering the weight of the evidence and the testimonies being lined up, it's clear that he and his legal team have their work cut out for them. So, as it stands, unless some game-changing evidence emerges or the defense pulls off a miracle in court, Rocky's chances of walking away unscathed from this case are slim. It's a high-stakes situation, not just for him but for Rihanna and their family, as they face the possibility of a future overshadowed by legal battles and potential jail time. In November, during a preliminary hearing that included testimony and surveillance video evidence, a Los Angeles judge ruled there was enough evidence for Rocky to stand trial. However, it seems like Rocky is doing his best to come off as unbothered, because his lawyer released a statement saying, "We're ready to go. It's been a long time. It's been something that's waiting over Rocky's head and Rihanna and their families' heads for a while. We're anxious to get this thing underway and get this behind him." However, according to a source from the police, Rocky and his legal team are just trying to BS their way through the situation because he faces a long time in prison. If he's found guilty, he could spend as much as 24 years in prison, and sources are saying that he's going to spend at least 10 years in prison. Well, according to sources, Rihanna is not taking this well. She and Rocky have 2 kids under the age of 3, and even though she's a billionaire, she still needs her baby daddy by her side. They have both confirmed that they have very minimal help when it comes to their kids, and in an interview she said, "We came home cold turkey, had no one. It was just us as parents and our baby. I cannot believe it. Essentially, from one person, I became 2. You walk into the hospital as a couple and leave as a family of 3. It's nuts. And oh my gosh, those first days are insane. You don't sleep. At all. Not even if you wanted to. Raising 2 kids alone while juggling a billion-dollar business is no big deal, and she is reportedly freaking out, which is understandable. This whole case is about to be a hot mess, but in the meantime, I want to know how you guys feel about this. Drop your thoughts in the comments, then check out this next video.